I am so sorry. I'm going to make this relatively rough for you guys for these next few days. There's a decent chunk of videos I want to get out, so it's the 28th. The year ends on the 31st. The end of the year rambles on the 31st, so I got about 2 more days. No, 3 days. Today, tomorrow, and yeah, today, tomorrow, and Wednesday. Yeah, and Wednesday. No, and Tuesday. I'm dumb. I don't know what it is today. Today's weird. Anyways, so I figured I would go ahead and I would cover all the 2014 anime that I watched and the things that I enjoyed and kind of how I feel about this year as a whole in terms of that. Now, with that being said, 2014 is kind of a weird year for me because I wouldn't say I necessarily I actually a lot of this was more of me finishing stuff. I don't know. I feel like I don't know if I would say the variety was worse or I just didn't watch as much stuff because when I went back and I looked on my Hummingbird account, which shows me a feed of everything I've watched, and it's not really separated by year, but that'd be a nice feature they put in. I noticed that a lot of the stuff that I watched, there weren't as much new stuff as it was maybe like last year. I felt like there was a lot more stuff last year that had like a lot of new crap that I was into versus this year, which was just kind of a few hidden gems, and then everything else was kind of like mediocre and okay. So we're just going to talk about it. Some of these things I'll go into more detail about. Some things I won't. There's a few things I want to talk about. There's a few shows I want to specifically talk about, but I'll probably make those separate videos in the vlog, on the gaming vlogs channel, so just keep a lookout for that. So let's talk about how the year started. Well, the year started with us finishing like 3 or 4 series. For example, Magi Season 2 ended in 2014, even though it started in 2013. Space Brothers, same thing. Well, actually, that one just ended in 2014. What else? There was another one. It might have just been those two off the top of my head. Some of them had that feel to me. That was the other thing about 2014. I had to go back and realize like what came out in 2014 versus what came out in 2013. I went, oh, because I watched a lot more shit in 2013 than I did in 2014 for some weird ass reason. And then life never got any fucking easier. Oh Christ. But if I had to talk about some of my favorite shows, just off the top of my head, the first one, and this is arguably my favorite shoujo of this year, is the Engaged and Identified. I actually had to remind myself this was 2014, particularly because I thought this was I thought it was too good to be in this year. And Engaged and Identified, I've reviewed, and I'll probably have link and annotations to the ones of these that I've reviewed. And God, it is such a fast-paced comedic shoujo, and I love it to death. Oh yeah, this year we also got the end of Hunter x Hunter, but I'll get to that when I get to it. I'm kind of trying to go in order from when the season started to when they got rid of it. Engaged and Identified was just my shit. Like that's just legitimately my shit. Like you ain't fucking with that. You ain't fucking with that with me at all. You can't do it. The next thing would be Silver Spoon Season 2, which... See, and here's the thing about Silver Spoon, people need to understand. Silver Spoon first season, I was kind of like in and out for, because I felt like the beginning of it was kind of like, not really a drag, but just kind of jarring. Just because it felt like I felt more disconnected in the beginning of the series. But once we hit season 2 and we start dealing with the stuff with Hachiken and Mikage and, I'm going to fuck up his name. Kobama? Fuck it. I felt like I just said Obama with the K on front of it for some stupid ass reason. But yeah, when you start dealing with that and the homes and because the first season was so good with the whole pig thing, and then the second season was like, oh, now we got to deal with Mikage and the struggles and her wanting to do what she wants to do in terms of a goal in their relationship, and I was like, oh my god, season 2 was so good. And then Space Brothers, it ended. Space Brothers. When that ended, that actually hit me weird because the way Space Brothers ended is somewhat of an ambiguous ending. I I'll put it this way: it doesn't feel like a complete ending, and that's the series. That's probably the next thing I need to review next. Space Brothers is great. It is great. It's actually a lot more engaging than what you think it would be. But the problem I think is that people are going to have with Space Brothers, if they ever were to try to watch it, is that Space Brothers is really, really slow paced, especially in the beginning. Well, it's probably more slow paced in the. It's weird. It's randomly slow paced in certain episodes, so I can see it getting jarring at certain points. It's 99 episodes, and since I finally releasing these things in collections, I guess they wanted to wait until it actually ended before they started releasing it. But we're getting Space Brothers, so yay, everybody, yay! Oh Christ! And then Magi season 2 ended, and that was some shit. Which is funny because I've now started. I'm not up to date with the manga, but I've been casually skimming through the later chapters, so I already know about some of the later developments. And bruh, oh my god! I mean, Magi season 2 was cool because it focused a lot on Aladdin. We got some Alibaba stuff, and we got even less Morgiana stuff. But like that was like an Aladdin arc. Which I like Magi. Magi is one of those things I want to review, but we're dealing with some issues regarding that. But Magi was legit. And then obviously Pokemon X and Y, I think, was one of those ones that carried on from 2013. I think 2013 is when it first started. Yeah, which kind of makes me see. It's ongoing, so I kind of want to talk about it anyway. I will say this: Pokemon X and Y went from being mediocre to a lot better. I think like recently, Pokemon X and Y has shot up a lot more with me personally. I've just started enjoying it more because it's not bullshitting me anymore. I felt like the beginning of it was like decked with the halls of just like filler and a whole bunch of unnecessary shit. And I feel like the latter half, maybe the last 6 months of Pokemon X and Y. Yes, it's just been cranking out bangers. They've been consistently trying to focus on each character, and I'm starting to enjoy it more. I don't actually know where I place Pokemon X and Y in terms of the series as a whole because the anime, like part of me wants to put it higher on the list because of its animation. Like the battles look so good in X and Y, man. I love the fact that the animation is way more fluid. Like that's like my favorite fucking thing about this so far. The battles look so much cooler. Oh god, it's gotten a lot better. X and Y has gotten a lot better. I was kind of mediocre with it, and then it just improved upon itself and became awesome. So another series that we got was Nisekoi. Nisekoi started this year, and we already have a confirmation for next year, which will get into my thoughts about the 2015 anime that I'm looking forward to. Nisekoi as a whole, I had already read the manga for I read the manga for all of it. So, like, when I watched it, as much as I enjoyed the anime, it's still just an extension of the manga. Like, I've already seen the plot points. I know what happens. I already knew what happened at the end of episode, what was that, 20? No, yeah, episode 20, before it even came up. I'm like, I already know how this is going to go. And I know season 2 is just more of an extension of that. So, it's like, I enjoyed Nisekoi. I think the animation is beautiful. I like the series, but it's like, I couldn't get hyped for it. Because, as I said, this year has been kind of meh with me, where I didn't really see that much new stuff I really liked. My favorite new thing that I've liked so far was Engaged to the Identified. That was like my favorite shit. Now, granted, that's not saying I didn't find some new stuff I didn't like. For example, the Kawaii Complex Guide to Manners and Hostile Behavior. This series is weird because it's pretty much, it's still kind of it's a shoujo in the sense that you got a guy and a girl. The girl's just kind of a bookworm reclusive who chooses to be reclusive and it's not like she has any type of personal issues or anything. She just likes being by herself reading books. And it's kind of the romantic interest between her and the guy that moves in, who just seems to have a knack for being surrounded by weird people. The anime itself isn't anything groundbreaking, but for some reason I found myself intrigued by it, especially the later episodes. It's weird. I don't know why, actually, but it was just something I enjoyed. Another thing that was something similar to that was No Game No Life. That was just a shot in the dark. No Game No Life was just kind of like, well, it's a video game adaptation. I say this even though I didn't like Sword Art Online. I've been slow as hell with Log Horizon. Not saying I dislike Log Horizon, just saying I've been slow to actually catch up to Log Horizon. Log Horizon is one of those animes that I don't feel a rush to finish it and catch up, because Log Horizon takes its damn time, which is nothing. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying. No Game No Life was a lot more compact, concise, and full of a lot of ridiculousness. I'm a strategy buff, so like I love seeing that type of shit. So a lot of the games that involved a ridiculous amount of strategy was awesome. I also like the fact that No Game No Life went out of its way to like try to not really it like acknowledged all the typical ecchi tropes, and then like, and it wasn't. I'm not saying it was deep enough to like try to move past it, but it acknowledged it in a funny way and tried to make fun of the situation if it was in there. Like for example, it was, what was it? The battle that Shiro and I can't even remember the characters' names. That's bad. I remember his sister. What's his name? Oh God, I'm gonna feel so bad when they're fighting Jibri. I don't even know how to pronounce that name. The fucking angel chick who has an obsession with knowledge. That's who I'm referring to. Damn it. When they were fighting her, and like, you know, they were saying it went back and forth, that game where, you know, you say a word and the next word you have to say has to start with the first letter of the word the person previously said, and it went back and forth to the point in which, and it was like that one point where he's like, everyone gets naked, and he's like, oh, but I removed the nipples so you can, and all the private parts, so they're not technically naked, and they don't need to be censored. That's what it was. They didn't need to be censored because he had removed the visibility of like the genitalia. Shit was so stupid. It was funny as hell, and it was interesting. I'm not saying No Game No Life was like awesome and amazing, but I thought it was really enjoyable. And if that were to get a second season, I would not have a problem with that, because that shit was legit. The next thing we had was the Monogatari series. Not Monogatari second season. Well, technically, it's the last part of second season. It's the Suruga stuff, which, as I've said in my review, it's like 5 episodes of just kind of like its own little contained storyline. For what it is, it's enjoyable. I'm not saying it's once again, it's just continuing that trend of having the girls move past their issues from the previous seasons. It just continues that trend of progression, and that Aragi is not needed to achieve that progression. It makes the girls stand out on their own merits. Granted, some girls got better treatment than others, but Suruga, I was happy to say, was one of the ones that got the better treatment. Another thing, we got the One Piece 3D 2Y special. I'm not going to talk about that because I've already reviewed it, and it's a fucking special. It's not even like an amazing special. It's just kind of like a basic ass special. JoJo Part 3 started, which was a thing. I think I'm going to leave JoJo Part 3 because it's not done, and the second half starts next year. All I'm going to say as far as JoJo Part 3 is concerned is JoJo Part 3 is just kind of like, eh. It's the most shonen JoJo has gotten. Which is funny because it's the one that gets the most praise. It's also the one that got the most marketing too. And also it's the one that has a JoJo that shows up the most in later fucking parts. Christ, I think Jotaro's in like, what, 3 or 4 more parts? It's insane. I don't even like Jotaro, but you know, it was a thing, and it happened. And then we have kind of the later half of the middle to the later half of the year, in which I got some things that I don't necessarily enjoy that I watched. Glasslip probably being my least fucking favorite anime of the year. At least the one of the series that I completed is my least fucking favorite, because it's a shoujo that is so fucking confusing and ambiguous. It doesn't tell you shit, and you don't even really feel a sense of completion when you finish it. It was complete bullshit. I will honestly say Glasslip was the biggest waste of time this year. And that's coming from a guy who did watch 13 episodes of Kill la Kill, and did watch some episodes of Attack on Titan, and did watch an episode of Kagami Got Killed. I would rather rewatch all those things again than fucking rewatch the whole of fucking Glasslip. or Glasslip. I'm not totally sure if it's Glasslip or Glasslip. It doesn't fucking matter because the term doesn't even fully make any fucking sense. Oh my god, it's because the whole premise is that you got this girl and this guy who's kind of aloof and just moved to town and shit, and the girl, for some reason, they can kind of see the future, kind of, sort of, in different ways. Like, she sees it through, like, glass, and his trigger is, like, through music and shit, and they're, like, kind of talking with all this other dumb shit drama going on in the background, which includes a stereotypical romance, but there being, like, a secondary option that the girl might be into another person bullshit. Then you have some borderline incest shit going on. It has, like, all the elements of a normal drama, but, like, no fucking intrigue and no sense. And then I found out it's an anime original story. It's not based on anything. It's anime original. I'm like, that's why the pacing is so fucking bad. The pacing was bad. The fucking setup was bad. The shit. I mean, the premise is whatever. It's just a kind of a basic ass premise, but like everything else around the premise was bad. Characters bad. Just the fucking. It had nice animation. Fuck, man. The music was meh. It's like, how do you fuck up a shoujo? It's not hard. It is not hard to do a shoujo. Christ. Fuck Glasslip. Seriously. Then you had Real Wars, which is pretty much a harem with trains, which has very much been kind of the rule with a lot of the harems I've watched in recent years. They're just harems with different premises behind it. The only thing at that point I'm looking forward to is how well they work on the girls and how balanced is the development. Real Wars is just kind of, I'm indifferent to. It's just kind of a thing. I don't necessarily hate Real Wars. I don't necessarily love Real Wars. It's just a thing. It's just kind of there. That's the way I view Real Wars. Like, oh, it's an anime that happened. As I said, Hunter x Hunter ended, which I'm not going to go too far into because I just did a review on that, so you can go check that out in the description. But I enjoy Hunter x Hunter more than Yu Yu Hakusho, so that should say a lot in itself. And not that I viewed Yu Yu Hakusho as high as other people do. But Hunter x Hunter to me is better. Then we have Persona 4 Golden, the animation. Now, for those who don't know, I've watched Persona 4, the original, and Golden, but I haven't played the games. Golden is probably the better of the two. I feel like the original had funnier scenes, but like the overall enjoyment, because the problem is you're focusing on this new girl Marie, and Marie to me personally was not that fucking interesting to watch. She's an amnesiac, which means like half the episodes was just dedicated to fucking teaching her basic ass life lessons, and then the other half was like comedy scenes, and then you had like that section that was like plot. It's not bad. It's only 12 episodes. It was fine for what it is. But once again, anything amazing. I didn't get out of there going, best shit ever, 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. Persona 4, amazing. Let's go play all the games. It's just okay to me. And then after that, we had the Invaders of the Roku. I'm going to mispronounce this. Rokojoma. Which I believe is just Invaders of like the apartment or some shit. Because that was the premise. The premise, once again, it's another harem series with just a different premise behind it. The premise behind this one is that you have this character who's a cheapskate and doesn't want to spend a lot of money. So he rents this like really tiny ass apartment. But for some weird ass reason, you have 3 different types of people who want this damn apartment. You have a ghost who already lived there, an alien race who has to do it for some political reasons, a mole woman who uses it as a base of operations, and a magical girl that no one fucking believes is a magical girl, believes is a cosplayer, even though you're surrounded by fucking aliens, mole people, and ghosts. Oh shit, she can't be a magical girl. She's obviously cosplaying. That doesn't make any fucking sense. Why would you not believe that she's a magical girl, but you believe the mole woman, the alien, and the fucking ghost? It's dumb. Stupid. And then once again, it's a harem in the sense that it has all the girls, and then you have a normal human girl part of that harem, and all the girls. It's a throwaway series. Like Real Wars is a throwaway series. Once again, as I said, throughout this entire fucking year, I've only run into like the only new show I ran into that I really really liked was Engaged to the Identified. Kawaii Complex is just kind of like meh, like everything else. And then after that, that's when Fate Stay Night started. And then in terms of this season, which was the only new shit I was watching, was Fate Stay Night, when supernatural battles became commonplace, and Denki Gai. I will say that we ended on better notes, because Denki Gai I find way more entertaining than I thought I would. It's not necessarily at, engaged in the unidentified levels, but it damn sure was entertaining, and I enjoyed it as a whole. I kind of wish there was more focus on the romance aspects that they kept throwing in there, but, it's not bad. By the way, the English translation for Denki Gai is the bookstore in the eccentric town. When supernatural battles became commonplace, is another one of those weird romance shonen, because it's actually animated by Studio Trigger, which is Gurren Lagann Kill la Kill. I'm not totally sure how I feel about the show, because it's not. At one point, I wanted to just say it was okay, but it has a lot of moments sprinkled throughout the episodes that make me want me to put it higher than what it really should be. Because really, it's just kind of okay. But it has a lot of strong moments. It has a lot of strong moments that make me say it's pretty good. Once again, it's just the premise is almost in the damn title. You have a whole bunch of kids. You have about 5 or 6 kids who just randomly get superpowers out of nowhere, but there's nothing evil to fight. So they're just kind of living their lives, and the superpowered shit is just kind of a backdrop to everything. Almost literally, because at a certain point, well, I'm not going to spoil it, but let's just say it's somewhat annoying, because there is a backdrop, and the anime's premise is, I feel like, is restricting the way the story should progress, because it's like something's happening and they won't acknowledge it, because the title of the series is When Supernatural Battles Became Commonplace, aka the main characters cannot get into the supernatural shit like that. They can have the powers, that's it. Every other problem is just, it's literally like a stereotypical harem, except that the characters have superpowers, which 90% of the time doesn't even play into the damn episodes. So it's but the romance and the character interactions are pretty good, especially in some specific episodes. So it's like, I like it more than I thought I would, but it's still not amazing. And I'm like, that one hurts me just because I don't know where to put it. I want to put it at okay, or a little bit better than average. I don't know. It's hard. And then we had fucking Fate Stay Night Unlimited Blade Works, which that will be one that will have its own video dedicated to it, because there's a few things I want to talk about spoiler wise, just from the wiki I've read about the characters' interactions and everything else. But I'll go ahead and say this much: for those who don't understand, Fate Stay Night Unlimited Blade Works is not a remake of the old Fate Stay Night anime. It's just doing the canon route of one of them. What I specifically mean is, Fate Stay Night is technically, I believe, a light novel and a visual novel, aka a dating sim game that has plot in it. Each route is a different girl. There's 3 fucking routes. I think there's Heaven's one, Fate, and then Unlimited Blade Works. If you've watched Unlimited Blade Works so far, even though it's only halfway done, you already know who the fucking girl of this arc is, but I'll go ahead and say it, because they don't even hide it. Ren is the focus on Unlimited Blade Works. AKA, if you're not a Ren fan, Unlimited Blade Works isn't going to appeal to you purely for that fucking reason. Because Unlimited Blade Works is a route. It's not like... Also, side note, Unlimited Blade Works is not going to focus on every character, because it's only going to deal with the characters who have the closest relationship. Which means, I'm not going to spoil it, but let's just say there are some characters that they've been showing off in Season 2 that won't do shit compared to what they do in other routes, just based on the plot descriptions I read for each route. If you read the description, that's part of the reason why Shiro's somewhat important, is a lot more important in Unlimited Blade Works. Even though, to me, if I had to pick a route, I haven't played the games or read the novels, but you're asking me to pick between fucking Ren, Saber, and Sakura. Ren would have been at the bottom of the list. So it's not like the shit in itself is bad. I just don't care as much, because I don't care about Ren that much. Ren was my least favorite. I mean, especially if you watch Fate Zero, who's the more interesting of the 3 girls? Well, we know how Saber's shit ended, which was, yeah. Ren had the most neutral ending. I mean, I'm not gonna spoil it, but she had the most neutral ending. And then Sakura had, yeah. So personally, Ren's ending is the one. Ren is the one I care the least about, and the fact that this one is focusing specifically on Ren and her route. That for one ends up spoiling the ending because we know each route is for a particular girl. And two, eh, it's not bad in terms of its writing. It's just I don't care because as much. I'm still engaged. I mean, I still finished it, and I was still looking forward to seeing the episodes. I'm just not as engaged because I know Fate Stay Night is pretty much a visual dating sim game split up into 3 fucking arcs, which means people are hoping they do a Fate one and a goddamn Heavens one. Because that's the one I care about the most. Because Saber was the character I was the most interested in based on her ending of Fate Zero. I was like, I want to know. Because I'm going to say this right now, and I'll just say this, and I'm going to let it go. Saber and Illuminate Blade Works to me is not the same goddamn Saber from Fate Zero. The Saber probably in Fate is the same Saber from Fate Zero. That's all I'm going to say. Anyways, that's pretty much all I watched. And then I don't know if I'll combine this with the 2015. No, I probably won't because it's already like 26 minutes. I'll probably do a separate video for the 2015 stuff. But I don't even need to do a separate video. All I really need to say is this. I'm not as excited for 2015 in the sense for new shit as I am for just sequels. Because when I looked at the list of things that I was looking forward to in 2015 or just in the future, out of everything I picked, all of it is sequels. Sequels are adaptations of things I'm aware of. Like there's no completely new surprises here. I mean, let's look at it. Fucking Durara Season 2, JoJo Part 2, Fate Zero Part 2, Nisekoi Part 2, Monogatari, which is just a continuation. I guess you would argue this is Monogatari 3rd season. My Teen Romantic Comedy Snafu Season 2. Fucking, what else? Working Season 3. And then you have adaptations of shows I've already been aware of, like Assassination Classroom, My Love Story, Food Wars. And I'm just kind of like, I'm excited, but I'm not as excited because I know... and then I looked at the list of things that are coming out from just the base list. I'm just not as excited because it's like, it's just a whole bunch of shit that I already know about. Like, the one thing I liked about Engaged to the Unidentified, even Denki Guy, or even when Supernatural Battles became commonplace or Kawaii Complex, those were new shows, period. And I didn't have any previous information on them. I just kind of jumped into it because I looked at the poster, I read the synopsis, that looks cool. Looking at the posters and synopsis of the 2015 anime, I just don't get the same feeling. But that's all I really need to say. So that was my 2014 anime experience. How did everyone else feel? I didn't bother talking about the other ones because I didn't watch them and I didn't care. I didn't think people wanted me to talk negatively about the same shows I've already talked negatively about. But this video is almost 30 minutes, so if you made it to... And my alarm went off at the very end of the video. Thank you guys for watching. If you made it to the end of this video, say happy 2014 of anime, and we all look forward to 2015, the year of sequels and more Shonen Jump adaptations. That's what I'm calling it. So, in the comments, just put Season 2 Shonen Jump Season 2. Yeah, that's what you put. Shonen Jump Season 2. If you made it to the end of the video, put Shonen Jump Season 2. Anyways, this has been the Insane Game Freak. I've been talking for 30 minutes. Life's a game. Play to win. And I will catch you guys later. So. Oh.